Okay, so yesterday was very impactful, very interactive because it's one of those things when you meet professionals, expo where I this summation of things and what have you. So I'm so delighted to be back this evening all present. Other people will join us, but we cannot wait for them as time is money. Was what we said yesterday. That time is money. So I'm holding on to Mr. Lawrence's statement that time is money. Right, Mr. Lawrence? Are we together?
We are together, sir. Yeah, together. Go ahead, sir.
How was your day?
Fine, we thank God. Today I came back a little bit earlier compared to yesterday because of this cause. But it was okay. We thank God. Everything moved fine.
Okay, that's nice. Mr. Zakaria, how is the day going? Mr. Michael, how is your day going? Mr. Ambrose?
Hello, my day is fine. So Friday. We hope that
Right,
today will be another wonderful day like yesterday. We enjoyed it yesterday. Well done.
with your presence and the presence of an aspect that I want us to look at, which is always a problem when it comes to managing projects, has to do with your supplier selection. I don't know if you'll agree with me that in most cases, it's always difficult to get the right supplier. But the reason why it's difficult, a whole lot of people that are supplying the same material that you are. How do you make the right choice? Profitable, useful to the organization. How in order to get the best kind of material supplier selection. When we talk about supplier selection, like a supplier is someone who has services you are looking for in order to do what have a with your money. Sometimes it may not be other valuable items. We always make mention that for you to have a valid contract, there must be considered. Sometimes people say it's money. That level, entering into a contract now, okay, bring the product. Sometimes, depending on the level of agreement, I could say, Mr. President, that is contract, that is consideration. Give me a plot of land in exchange. That is consideration. So it is not necessarily Okay, so the supplier is someone that have what the supplier also. So there is an exchange. How your suppliers. We say that supplier selection is the process by which evaluate and contract with suppliers. The supplier selection process deploy a crucial role for the success of any organization. Plays a very vital role in the success of your own. Saying you cannot wish to have a material everything you have is not even up to 100 million. There is no supplier that would want to go into any kind of contractual agreement with you. Why? First and foremost, the supplier is also screening you to know and understand your financial base, your financial position. Can this company pay this amount of money that they want? This material in parting ways? Has it been in an amicable way, or it's always been in a troublesome manner as a result of non-payment or delayed payment? Have they been involved in any court case? Because no supplier down with our money in the financial position of the organization speaks volume and can take your organization to the success. Choosing a new supplier is one of the most good. A good working relationship can lead to an increase in sales and reliable service. A bad partnership can lead and managing element for this item to be not right supplier. When there is no relationship between you and your supplier, it can spell doom for the organization. It can spell doom for the project in entirety. In procurement, there are different levels of contractual agreement. Sometimes I could reach an agreement with Mr. Lawrence to say, okay, see, I don't have the money to pay now. Give me the goods. A unit of the goods is worth 1,000 naira. That is the present condition, the present price of that good. You give it to me. In the next 6 months, I am going to pay you the amount that the good is worth. But in your own calculation, what we'll do is what will be the current value of that product, of that item in the next 6 day, it is 5,000. I am going to pay Mr. Lawrence 5,000 supplier relationship and procurement contract is concerned. Another contract that I could sign with Mr. Lawrence could be, okay, you are supplying payment while you supply in full. 1% or 2% compensation of so altogether. And start with Mr. Lawrence. Whenever you want it, you supply. Here we are out of stock. No, you supply it whenever. That can be also a resultant effect of that. The resultant effect is that at the end of the project or at the end of they agree that for you to have supplied me steadily on time, commission that you are getting. So there are different approaches managers can have with their suppliers, depending on exactly what. That is the reason we emphasize that no matter their relationship with your supplier, have it all to your rescue. Even when the money is available, sometimes you some kind of assistance. So you do what? How is in sales? Increase in the execution, delivery of the project. Currently researching potential, then make sure you take these 5 factors into account to help find the supplier that is right for your business. What are these 5 factors? Number 1 is the supplier cost. As much as every company, every manager wants to cut costs, in cutting costs, do not undermine quality. Do not play down on quality. Do not neglect quality. Do not close your eyes on quality as much as you want to do what? Minimize cost. So probably the most obvious but equally important factor to take into consideration when looking for new supplier is cost. We have 10 suppliers in the market. We have collected the quote. They've done the bidding and everything. What price are they giving? Why are we having A to Z having different prices? And if at all they have the same prices, what is the difference? Cost is very important because if it's going to affect the whole project, it's going to affect every of that project. So what the price is suitable for the organization. Around and see who offers the best deals. For instance, or others may offer higher cost with better quality products. All has to do with the right people. Okay. Well, if you buy 6 at 5,000, the other person tells you if you buy 600 or 6,000, and then the transportation cost is borne by us, right? Isn't that appealing to a manager who is trying to save costs but getting the quality? The other supplier can tell you, okay, we sell, but the transportation, are you to carry from where it is to the site? If you have value to the organization, if we go to the other one that down to what these are what contribute. When you analyze all of these differences, you'll be able to do what? Take the right profit to the organization. So number one component is what? Cost. Number two is quality. There is often a correlation between cost and quality. You know, sometimes they say that all that glitters is not necessarily what? Gold. All that glitters is not necessarily gold. We want to talk on the quality and the price and the cost, the correlation. You see, sometimes you go to a boutique, you carry a particular jean trouser, and they tell you that jean trouser is costing you 45,000 naira. The same jean that is the same quality in another place where there is no air conditioner, where there is no blue light, where there is no coloring light, and they are selling this. Why? Which will you buy and why? As a manager, which will you buy and why? Over to you. You have the same product, the same different prices. Which will you buy and why?
So are you asking the house? Hello, sir.
I'm waiting.
Are you asking us a question? Please, I'm really having a very good network today. Hello?
We can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Hello.
Okay, so.
Hello.
Yeah, over to you.
Okay, Mr. Friday, what we're saying is, please, can you reframe the question?
We can't hear
I didn't
you.
also get you. The question, can you reframe it again?
Okay. I said you went to a boutique. maybe from saw somebody selling the same gin at 20 naira, maybe ringing bell, select, bend down, bend, and it's the same quality, 80,000. Which will you buy and why? Can be someone hear me?
Can hear you, but the network is very bad, very poor.
Is it my end?
But we can't determine that, but it's breaking from your end. The network is breaking.
Okay. I think I'll have to disconnect and join again. Let me see if it's going to be clear.
Okay.
Is it better? Is it better? Please, I need a feedback so that I know.
Yeah, it's much better now. We can hear you now from my end.
Where
We lost you again. We've
if
lost
you
the
can
signal.
hear,
Hello, Mr. Friday. Hello.
for you to remember that when we are choosing something in recruit, you are employing a particular staff, okay, staff for the first time, you need to carry out a background check on that staff, who they are, when, and what they are doing, or ask them to ask for them. Say that you want to hear specific supplier in the past, they can give you honest account of what the partnership was like and list any good or bad points, just like I mentioned. Lawrence, this supplier said he's worked with you. What has been your experience? Is he a trustworthy person or not? Can I do business with him? For how long? So it gives me thought about that supplier. If you are deciding between two suppliers, reference can make all the difference. differences when to choose. The other one has capacity. The other one's clientele is, laudable. Is there. Their past attitude, their track record is there. So, the two, culture. Number 4 is what? Shared culture. Expectations are we sharing the same culture? Are we the same about contracts, about quality, about belief? Imagine telling Mr. Lawrence, hey, Mr. Lawrence, you see, I'm a man of quality, so I can leave that thing. Hey, quality, who quality head? I beg, leave that thing, we'll achieve it like that. Already, that is what a red flag. It shows me that he does not believe in quality. Therefore, he can do anything just to get his money and then putting me at risk as far as the project is concerned. That is what shared value or culture. And the second one is what? The fifth one is location. When choosing a supplier, location is a big factor to consider. If you're a local business that has built your brand on expertise in your area, then you want to focus on finding suppliers who is located nearby. There's no point you are having your project site in Lagos, and then your suppliers are coming all the way from Cal. That you are you could rush in and rush out and resolve a problem. You cannot really do. So broke down, we are having to spend 3-4 days on it, adds to the time wasted. Of the project manager is very important of supplier selection or supplier selection. What anybody can do. Anybody can contribute. What is the importance of supplier selection?
Can you hear me?
Hello?
So that we can hear you.
Hello?
Mr. Lawrence, go ahead. I can hear you.
Okay, just like you stated, or you've been talking, you've been communicating with us concerning the suppliers' activities, it has to do with their location, and so on and so forth, their quality, brand, experience, integrity, and so have you. So far you stated it all. So if you want to talk about the type of supplier you are supposed to go in as a project manager, of course they must meet up that criteria: the costing, the quality, the integrity, the experience they have gotten in supply, and people they have been working with, and how famous they are, their brand, and also their location, even their cost. So all these things are features that quantify a good supplier. So thank you.
Thank you very much. One of the importance of class selection, the project manager is getting the best price, getting the best project. That's important. Okay, so by the time a project manager gets the right supplier, everything will go on smoothly because the quality is there. You have the right price. The quantity is there. So what else are you looking for? Move from one level to another. There's going to be a progressive trend. Okay? So no matter if you're a small business or an already established one, because you know that this supplier will not fail. You've carried out all the checks and balances, and you've come to the conclusion, and the project manager should be. Don't forget, when it comes to in project management, when it comes in the place of the project manager to source for suppliers. It is the source for suppliers. The project manager is only born what they have done, which level they have, and how it will be beneficial to the organization. The procurement manager enters into a contractual agreement upon how for the project. Apparently, you will say the project manager motion from Alaba to from Ojo Lagos Island, from Lagos just to source work. No, they are all must be well managed so that the success of the project can on stages of supplier selection. Okay, you need to do what business needs. Business needs is the business about. As this business is concerned, what kind of supplier has this project is concerned? Who do we go for? The particular or projects of people that will be submit the proposal for you know, it's just like look maybe for someone with years experience on the job. Some let's say 2-1. Some these are what they need. So by the time you begin to get CV is having passed because that's not the area that you are focusing on. This one is 22 years. This one has 2 years experience. This one has for that's exactly in the project. This identified to be the supplier they need. Number 2 is to do what? Lead your potential. Come on, find your business is. One of the easiest way to find potential suppliers network. I call that can give me maybe supply me a particular contact. I need a supplier. That is what my best network cannot work in isolation. You need a network. No matter how small or how big the project is, that field or project, that you could come and they give you what you want. What your potential. Determine your potential. Spend. Do I need somebody that is closer to the site? That is number 1. Do I need somebody that has 15 or 20 years experience? Number 2. Do I need somebody that will give me the list of all the partners as far as his business is concerned? That could be a criteria. Do I need somebody who has 15, 20 years? That could be part. So we must come up with what business expect from a supplier in order to help them with choices. Okay. So it's that you prioritize and will help you decide which supplier. Aside from the specifications, here are some supplier selection can when look, number 1, quality and sale of products. Of products is that is number 1. You talk about flexibility. These are criteria. Are they reliable suppliers? They time is would deliver something came up. Sorry, vehicle broke down, and we had some challenges, unforeseen circumstances. That even when called upon at any time, they can fly. If now, are they civil? Are they flexible? In the course of the project, they can be flexible out. Expensive are they? The fact that these products, their material is expensive doesn't mean that no. Sometimes the highest amount may not even quality. It does portray quality of service. What kind of service do they provide service? Do they provide service? What service do they provide? So can help make a short list of suppliers that can meet all of these are what we need to do. Then the next thing is what? Meet the suppliers. Meet what? The suppliers. So once you have made a short list, arrange a meeting with the potential supplier, whatever one that is suitable to you. Meeting your suppliers an opportunity, great, and if they might be a deal for your business or not. Sometimes when I hear somebody talk, I know, give you space. Just tell me about your company. Tell me about what you can do in 5 minutes. You can get a point or points from that 5 minutes discussion. It will help you to know, can I deal with this person? Is this person fit for my business? Okay. There's need to do what? Have a meeting. Then conduct audit and meet as many suppliers as you can on the short list before you finally select your supplier and proceed with negotiating a contract. In order to manage their project, it is step by step. You don't jump one and move to the other one. It is step by step. You have shortlisted. So that you can do what? Finally select out of the 4. Materials, supplies, and what have you to get examination. Then the step 5, draft, negotiate, and sign the contract. Portable, we are okay with the supplier, the drafting. We are going to negotiation, we are going into what? The signing. In contractual agreement with document agreement cannot water. It is advisable, whatever a project manager does written, it must be, every person must sign. So if there's a breach, you can sue and you can also be whatsoever. So there's nothing like, hey, I told him, hey, I wish, nothing like that. You don't think, you don't assume. And if things need to be changed, it has to also be done through writing. If it ought to be, then it must be. If it ought not to be, then it mustn't be. Everything must be well spelled out. If the process of the contract, you notice that something is not aligning, or you want to make a change, you must do what? Inform by way of what? Writing to the other party. You don't assume it. He should know now. Has he not been into business for years? He should know it doesn't work that way. It doesn't. I'm not in your mind to know what you are thinking. Neither am I, or you are in my mind to know what I'm thinking. So be prepared and expect a negotiation that will cover important information such as the amount of compensation for the corresponding supplier deliverables, as well among other things, completely. Who receives what? When are you supplying? How much are we paying? When are we paying? When is the payment going to end? Is it going to be in cash transfer or in checks? All of this must be spelled out in what before it can be signed. So the contract, so that we are not running the contract ending. If there is need for renewal of the contract, that if they so agree, if they want to part in writing, these are my, you are going to pay a set percentage for that. It's a breach of agreement. The contract was supposed to last for 1 year, but in between, you terminated it in 7 months. You are okay. So the agreed dates to terminate the contract, possible renewal of contract, and this should be very clear for both parties. Grounds for early termination of contract. The contract should be done mutually. It's a mutual agreement, mutual understanding. It should not be done in duress. It should not be done under contract. A successful supplier selection. How to maintain a good relationship with your supplier. How can you maintain a good relationship? What are those things that you also must do in order to maintain a good relationship with anyone who is this? Hello.
No, we can hardly hear you. Personally, me, your network is very, very not very is bad, but we are managing. Can you hear me?
That is the same this thing that I
Today,
used
the lectures
yesterday.
should have been interesting than that of yesterday, but Mr. Freddy, your network is not just matters at all. I can say for a fact that for the past 1 hour, I did not get much from you.
What could be the problem?
Maybe you can change your network or log out and then log in again. Probably this might help us.
Okay. Okay. So let me do that. Just give me a few minutes. Let me do that, please.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir.
I hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. I really well. This is technology for us. It's really affecting in one way. Apologies for that. Okay, so I'm so sorry. At what point should we start again, please, so that everybody can be part of it? At what point should we start?
The main point is when are we going to start again? For today?
No.
Or when?
Because Mr. Zakaria was saying that he didn't get anything. So from where the network stop so we can continue from there. I wouldn't mind.
Okay.
So Mr. Friday, I think we didn't get you even from the start, but since the notes are available, we can just continue from where you stopped the last time. We can continue from here, how to maintain a good relationship with its suppliers.
Okay. How to maintain a good relationship with suppliers. Okay, I was asking a question. I asked the question on the chat there. How can you maintain a good relationship with your supplier? So I needed some kind of input. How can you maintain a good relationship with your supplier?
So for me, I think one of the very good ways of maintaining a relationship with the suppliers is through effective communication with the suppliers. Through effective and open communication, you can always say all of what you want as per the contract that binds you and that supplier, and also come on to evaluate the contract as time goes on. Another way is also to make sure that you stick to agreements, not any party flouting to agreements that you've earlier had. I think these two, if I get anyone again, I can say. Thanks.
All right, thank you, sir. Keeping to your agreements. If I tell you, if the contract is saying that you're going to be paying every quarter, stick to that agreement. If there's any reason that you think you will not be able to meet up, it is better to communicate before time. Before time. Even on the part of the supply, if you know for whatever reason you won't be able to meet up, supplying at the time, a mark, what do? You reach out to the organization and inform them ahead of time. Those are some of the reasons or some of the ways that you can maintain a cordial relationship with your supplier. Mr. Lawrence, you wanted to say something?
Yes, sir. I wanted to add one or two. It's also I think reliability is also applicable for you to be able to rely on your supplier. Why I'm saying this is this: there are suppliers that when you ask them for a demand or when you demanded something from them, a particular goods from them, they will tell you they have it, but they don't have it. You cannot ever rely on them. I am telling you out of experience. And even if they know they don't have it, they will go and start alliancing with other company to get it on a cheaper basis for you. So in that, if there is no reliability, if you cannot rely on your supplier, there is no way you can have a good how would I put it, good you can't rely on them, and you cannot have a good synergy, as in both of you cannot synergize.
Yeah.
So that is one. Then two, in terms of partnership, because you see, partnership is a very key role when it comes to suppliers or supplying goods. You partner. Why do I say partner? For instance, me and the company, at the moment, I might not have the money for that demand I'm demanding. But because of having a good relationship, the supplier will say, okay, company, don't worry. I will get the material for you and give to you. When you have the money, so day, you'll be able to give me the money. So by the time you people have that partnership together, then the relationship can build, you can have a good ground, and then it will flow. So that is it. Thank you very much.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. Mr. Ambrose, you want to say something?
Yes, sir. I look at one of the factors for me to consider as maintaining the relationship with my supplier as a timely payment. Now, when it comes to payment of the supplier for what we have done for you is really very crucial in such a way that you will build a trust between you and the supplier. When you do timely pay, that prompt payment with them, it's really one of the reasons that it is really very key for us to ensure that we maintain that relationship with them. Also, I look at communication being one of the key factors to support us in maintaining the relationship with our supplier. It is really, as a team, we need to have that strong communication time and again on what we really need to get from our supplier. Every time we need to get in regular touch with them. It's really very key. I also look at prioritizing the value over price, the quality of service or the supply we get from our supplier matters really a lot over the price that we pay. This would enable us to maintain that relationship. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so very much. Thank you so very much. You see, all of this is attributable to having trust. Like Mr. Lawrence said, if you maybe you don't have money and you want the product, he can tell you, okay, I'll supply you and you pay me. That can only happen when I trust you. It can only happen when we have a good relationship and I know you. I know what you are capable of doing. I can't start business just one day with you and then I want to start giving you open check. Anything you request, I do it. No, what if you change along the line? So for me to be able to do certain things, I must trust you first. You must prove yourself to be trustworthy. You must prove to me that whatever I'm going to do, I'm not going to shoot myself on the foot. No. So these are some of the ways that we can maintain relationship between the project team, the project manager, the procurement manager, and then the supplier. The failure of the project can be attributable to the supplier. The failure of the supplier can also be traceable to the project manager or the organization itself. So both parties must work together hand in hand to ensure that they realize their objective. So one of them is, once suppliers have been selected and others have been made, how do suppliers and businesses keep a mutual beneficial long-term business-to-business relationship? Number one, establish a standard. Establish what? A standard. On the part of the supplier, let the supplier also establish a standard that will be upheld by the project manager. Let the project manager or the organization also establish a standard that must be well followed by who? By the supplier. They must be what? A well-established, analyzed standard. Okay, so this is crucial even before the onset of the partnership. A standard on the quality and quantity of supplies, how they are to be delivered, and how often the deliveries are to be made should already be agreed upon at the beginning and adhered to for the duration of the contract. This is a standard. Anything outside this, we are not doing it. Anything outside this causes what? A breach of contracts. So the standard must be what? Must be well established. Then keep communications open. Mr. Lawrence said, one of the most critical and important element and factor is what? Communication. Let communication be, open. Be transparent and maintain an open communication with suppliers. Is there a delay in receiving the delivery? Tell the suppliers right away so they can check what might be causing the delay and see if they can do something about it. Don't bottle it up. Do you need to change something about your order? Inform your supplier as early as possible and be ready to discuss any possible impact on the quality and usual turnaround time as any deviation from previous agreement may affect not only you, but also the supplier and the other commitments. This is what open communication. Like I said, you don't work on assumption. You don't work on I thought. You don't work on I believe you will know. You don't work on I don't know what else to put it. But let communication be open. If you do not like it, say it out. If there's going to be any delay, inform beforehand. Whatever is going to happen in between the both of you should be well communicated so that the project will not suffer. Don't forget the project has a timeline. The project has a timeline. So whatever happens between the supplier can affect that time. Whatever happens between the supplier can do what bring about risks to the project. Whatever happens between the supplier negatively can affect the project from meeting the required standard as expected by the stakeholders. So they must want open communication. Keep lines open and be open for discussion with suppliers. That also needs the money. Your supplier is helping you. You are equally helping your supplier. So it is rub my back, I rub. By them down. You are not paying me on time. So pay on time. Sometimes surprise your suppliers, make them happy. Is completed. A thank you to the project team, the manager, procurement manager is not too much, so that the relationship can do what? Be solidified. Don't forget there are 1,001 suppliers out there that possess the same quality as you. Maintain what? Good record keeping. It is expected that the organization, the project team, the project manager must do what? Maintain a good record keeping so that you're able to fast track what came in, how much was paid, when did we pay, who received, who authorized, who did this, who did what, proper record. So that nobody comes up tomorrow to say on the 38th and 25th, there was no payment made, whereas there was payment made. We received this material, whereas we did not receive. We supplied X quantity, whereas the quantity were not the same as what we bargained for. There must be what proper record keeping. Proper record keeping. This is how you are able to select your suppliers. This is how you are able to maintain a good relationship with them. This is how you are able to bring about standard. This is how you are able to do what? Work on your project and execute on your project. Manage your project. You cannot run away from selection. Selection could be in terms of your manpower. Selection could be in terms of technology, in terms of tools, mechanisms, and all of that. You must be able to select properly for the overall interest of the organization. Okay, so let's move into material management. Before we move into material management,
No question.
any question?
I think we can just move ahead.
Okay. How is selection, supply selection, and material management applicable to project management or managing projects? How is it applicable? What is the correlation? What is the correlation? What is the correlation? Anybody, as a project manager,
Yes.
how
For procurement, supply evaluation. So you are seeing that the supplier is coming in, and supply evaluation and selection, the purchasing, the expenditure, and so on and so forth. So there's a great deal of relationship between supplier management and material management, because it also involves selection of the suppliers, their evaluation, the purchasing, and so on and so forth. Over.
Okay. So how is it applicable to managing projects? How does it relate to managing projects?
So in this way, in managing projects, like you said earlier, you will need to select a supplier that has the capacity to deliver. You need to come on an agreement and maintain that agreement over the period of that contract. So if you do select a supplier that has capacity, as time goes on, you need to evaluate the achievement, the successes and challenges as the projects go on. So in that way, you are managing the project so that nothing comes. Like we said, there is always a time for a project to start and a time for a project to end. Project has a life cycle. So the life cycle of a project is determined and is affected by the way you select your suppliers and also manage the flow of materials within the project.
All right. All right. The truth of the matter is the truth of the matter is these two topics affect project management or managing your project positively. The failure of having to effectively select your suppliers affect your project. Your failure to effectively manage your materials also has an adverse effect on your entire project. Because of course, project has to do with making use of materials. Making use of materials. Your materials could be human, it could be finance, it could be tools, technology, and all of that. Whatever thing that you deploy, effectively put to use, that will give you the desired result as far as the project is concerned, is your material. So, how do you manage your material is what we are looking at now, material management. Okay? When we talk about material management, obviously, material is going to move from where it is being sourced for, the origin, and it moves to the location in which it is meant to be. In between that process, in between that level, the state, how are you managing the material? It is not only a function of the fact that the material has come into the site. Let us manage it while it's on site. No. While it's even on transit, while it's even still with the supplier, that contract has been entered into, supply is supposed to be made, and all of that, how do you manage? Material management now talks about the planning and controlling what material flow, the movement from its state of origin to its destination. That is what material management. So it includes planning and procuring materials, supplier evaluation and selection, purchasing, expenditure, shipping, whatever. Okay? So as a project manager, it is your responsibility to ensure that every material that is brought in is well managed in order to achieve the desired result. Have you ever worked in a place where you say, we are out of material. We run out of material. The material is not enough. We got the right quality, but it was mismanaged. It was mismanaged. How? How was it mismanaged? So, we are talking about the cycle, the life cycle of material management. Talking about quotation, contracting, inspection, delivery, procurement, storage, consumption, waste, recycle, estimation. These are what the components of material management. Every material must ensure that it does what? It is well inspected. It is delivered to the right destination. It is cross-checked. It is reviewed. It is well stored in a place that will not get it affected negatively. It will not be damaged. It will not be tampered with. The procurement process, of course, must be done ethically, professionally, to meet what the standard. Of course, a quote must be there, must be involved. The estimation, the recycle. Is it possible for it to be recycled? Is it possible for it to be amended, for it to be repaired and used? This is what managing material is all about. So what are the types of material management? We talk about material requirement planning. Material requirement planning. Sometimes as a project manager, you look at the situation on ground and you decide whether to go for just-in-time method. We just need 500 bags of cement today, we get it today, and that ends it. If we need another one tomorrow, we get another one. If we need another one next tomorrow, we get the quantity desired. The reason for that, you might have some constraint when it comes to storage, when it comes to safety of such materials. Hence, you decide, instead of having to procure as much as possible and keep, and then we are not sure that we'll come back the following day and see the same quantity. Why don't we get it as we want it for that day? It has its own advantages, it has its own disadvantages. But you must be able to do what? Weigh the options and know which one is okay for the organization. Material requirement planning. Then you talk about purchasing. What is the difference between purchasing and procurement? What is the difference between procurement and purchasing? What is the difference between procurement and purchasing? Anybody?
Okay, sir.
Hello.
Anybody? Yes, please.
Okay, let this speak. All right. Hello, can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, as the terms implies, procurement has to do with processing, agreeing terms and the condition for the materials you are going to buy, the quality, the quantity, and the location where this material will be coming from and where it's to be deposited. While supply is demanding of goods, either in larger scale, purchasing rather, a line of goods, either in large quantity or in a small scale. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Lawrence. Any other person?
Yeah, so purchasing is a subset of procurement. In procurement, you are doing a lot of things. You know, you need to plan for your needs, you need to forecast, you need to quantify, you need to select your suppliers, you need to do the actual purchasing, and then you need to close the process after receiving those items. So you can see that purchasing is just the physical, you know, or the actual receipts and payment for those goods. So purchasing is a subset of procurement. Over.
Okay. Thank you. Procurement in most organizations, they have both procurement departments and purchasing departments. In some organizations, they have only purchasing department playing the role of the purchasing department. The truth of the matter is the two departments are to function in a different level because the process of procurement is never the same as the process of purchasing. Like Mr. Zach said, purchasing is a subset of procurement. Procurement birth purchasing. In procurement, there are so many vital and important roles that is played. You talk about the sourcing for the material. You talk about the negotiation. You talk about the testing. You talk about the drafting of contracts. You talk about, negotiate. Everything is there before the contract is entered. Purchasing is just moving the product, making maybe invoices, receipts, and all of that. LPO, raising LPO, and what have you to get a product. Not much activity is done. It's just like saying, okay, I want to go and buy something. Now, buying and purchasing is different, but you are doing the same activity. I'm going to buy sugar with the Malam. Do I need any contract with the Malam? All I need to do, just go there, give him 100 naira, collect sugar, and I go. That is buying. I don't need to raise any invoice. I don't need to do any paperwork. But when you are purchasing, it is on a different pedestal. When you are procuring, it is on a different pedestal altogether. So purchasing should be done economically and on time to maintain material supplies and increase final profit by lowering what? Expenses. We are talking about the types of material management. Number 2 is purchasing. Number 3 is inventory control. As much as we are not doing supply chain, as much as we are not doing logistics, as much as we are not doing inventory, but it is important that there must be what? Proper inventory control within the project scope. When you are talking about inventory, you are talking about the goods or the materials that have come into the site. Those materials that are available, those materials that is about being used, what came in? Is it the right quantity that we applied for, that we requested for? Having gotten the right quantity, what have we been able to make out of this quantity? What do we have left? Because in projects, if you are not careful, you can run at a loss. If you are so careless, if you overtrust the people that are working with you. No, I'm not saying you should not trust. Okay? I'm not saying you should not trust the workers and what have you, but do not overtrust to the point that you are careless to know what quantity came in, what quantities are available, what quantity was used. At the end of the day, you'll be surprised to know that you have been paying for what has not been used. Because people, when they look at how careless you are, don't worry, bring 500. They bring 500. 100 will miss in the night. By the time you come back, you say, we have used it. We used it. And what can't you see we have used it? You don't have total control of the inventory within your site. A manager, a project manager should be able to have a proper inventory control. Inventory control. That's the flow of raw materials, purchase, and other components. It could be in a business. What are those components that are coming in? Sometimes even in the office, you buy A4 paper and you know what and what you have printed. The following 2 days later, you discover that A4 paper is finished. People are removing 10, 10, 20, 15, 30, 50. Before you know, the carton is empty. Why? There is no proper inventory control. These are ways to manage your materials. Otherwise, you don't know how many bags of cement came in, how many rods of iron was supplied. They just cut it and confuse you. Before you know it, it's thrown over to the fence. Somebody is there to pick it up. It enters the market, is sold, and you are losing. Material supply management. Material supply management. If you have multiple sites, how are the materials supplied? Let's say we have different locations for the project and we are procuring from the same supplier. How are they distributed? That is material supply management. How are they distributed? Do they get to the destination on time? The right quality? Is there any good storage system that will make us to, procure in large quantity for a particular center, for a particular unit? Who is responsible for each material that comes in? Who is held accountable for any loss, for any damage? This is one of the ways. So, what do material managers do? Simple. You have only just 3 simple functions. Just simple, 4. Planning, organizing, directing, and controlling. It's as simple as ABC. You just plan how the materials will be managed. You organize the system. You direct each of the units. You control the disbursement, the flow, the usage of such materials. Once these 4 items are put in place, are considered, then you can have a successful material management system on ground. The key aspect of material management. Some of the key aspects is material management makes sure that there is no overstocking or understocking of goods or materials. There is no overstocking or understocking. At the end of the day, we know exactly what we have, when we should procure more, why we should procure more. The planning, procurement, inventory control, and distribution are some of the key components of material management. I've heard some cases where materials will just miss in transit. They are loading the right quantity from the supplier. Along the line, the quantity reduces to something else. in connivance with the people on the site. Say, we have removed 50. Just count, put it there that the material is complete. They sell it and they share the money. That is not supposed to be if you have a functional material management system on ground. So what are some of the techniques of materials management? Material requirement planning, we talked about that before. Enterprise resource planning software. This is a tracking system. This is a software. This is a software that is deployed to ascertain the right quality, the right quantity of a particular material. That at a glance, the project manager knows through the results given, through the data given by the procurement manager, they know exactly what quantity left and what quantity was received, what quantity was used and what quantity is left. You can track it. You can know who used what, who authorized what. The objectives is just to ensure efficiency. Is to ensure what? Efficiency. When materials are available in the right quantity to be used for the right job description, the right purpose. Efficiency is the result. We are able to use what we want to use to get the desired job. We get it done. But if it is the other way around, we want to work, material is not available. How do we work? How do we meet up with the project time? Cost effective. We don't want materials to be mismanaged to a point that we start spending extra outside what was quoted. Because the obvious is if materials keep missing, if the materials keep getting short, what ends up is that you use another fund in order to procure more materials, which may not have been factored into the project. Uninterrupted flow of materials, reliable quality assurance. Once we understand that we have a functional material management system on ground, we know that there is a functional flow. There is an uninterrupted flow of materials. It gets to the site, we use it. It gets to each site center that we have, they are able to use it and we get the desired result. We are able to meet customers' needs, stakeholders' expectations. So, what are some of the best practices? Use explicit rules for material quality. Make smart selection of providers. Employ a specialist as materials manager. Use the just-in-time inventory control approach. Maintain a well-organized warehouse if necessary. If necessary. Sometimes looking at if there's close proximity on each of the project sites. Let's assume you have 5 sites or 4 that you are working and you are getting large quantity of product. If you have the capacity, you can get a warehouse where the product is moved from the suppliers into the warehouse so that the supply to various units, to various centers can be stress-free. Maintain a well-organized warehouse. It could be just for the purpose of that project. You can as well outsource it. can as well outsource the warehouse. You can collaborate. You can partner just because you want to get the desired result. One of the characteristics includes the function of industrial management, specific process of management, integrated approach, then the wide process. Talk about the functions and scope of material management, material planning, purchasing and procurement. Then the problems in material management includes problem with regards to planning. Sometimes managers do not necessarily think it's important to have material manager aside from the procurement manager. The function or the job description of the procurement manager may not include materials management. So a company, an organization that is capable enough can employ the services of a professional material manager. All you are trying to do is to ensure that if it will take us 500 units of material to complete this project, having procured this quantity, at the end of it, we should be able to use that 500 to get the project completely executed. So that we do not lose time, we do not lose money, we do not lose other materials and all of that. So the planning aspect is very important. Problems with regards to design and specification. To design and specification. Sometimes, depending on the kind of project that you're embarking on, you need some materials with some sort of specifications. You say, I want this material in this spec. I want the design of this material to be like this. Why? Because you have a mental picture that has been translated to a prototype of what you want to achieve. And the designing will help you to achieve what you want to achieve. So sometimes there's a problem. How do they design this that will fit and suit the desired result? We talk about the lead time. The problems with regards to procurement of materials, the lead time and the lag time. The lead time and the lag time. At every point in time, procurement must be done at the right time. Procurement must be done at the right time. It must be well inspected. It must be issued to the department that is with the responsibility of what? Handling it. Material handling is another key aspect. It is one thing to manage material, is another thing to handle material effectively. Material handling is different from material management. These are things that the manager should know. Then you talk about the staff problem. Are the staff able to effectively utilize the material for the purpose? Are they trained? Is there any rigid, complicated procedures? Is there any difficult procedures as far as the utilization of the material is concerned, it can be a problem to the project manager. That is the reason it is important to get the services of skilled people, professionals, who will not give you tough time interpreting an aspect of the material, because they know it is their field. Placing people where they ought to be can help you to eliminate the time wasted, the energy, the resources. It can help you do that. What are some materials management best practices? Use clear guidelines for what? Material quality. Pick suppliers strategically. Pick your suppliers strategically. Do not undermine anyone. Don't be sentimental about picking of suppliers. Do it realistically, holistically, because as a project manager, your main aim is to ensure that the project meets the timeline. It is executed and delivered to the stakeholder just the way it's supposed to be, meeting expectation or surpassing expectation. But the expectation must not be lower than what was expected. Have dedicated materials managers. Have a dedicated somebody that will oversee whose interest is not above the interest of the organization, but the interest of the organization is above his interest. All he does is for the betterment of that project. Someone that is dedicated, knowledgeable, vast, a professional. Have an ordered warehouse, like I said, if necessary, as far as the project is concerned, depending on the magnitude of the project and the site that you have with proximity to where it is. Complete frequent review. Complete what? Frequent reviews. At the end of the day, let's have a review. On each of the departments, let's have a review. On each of the material handlers, let's have a review. Site A, Site B, Site C. Let's come up with your review. How was the material managed? These are some of the ones. These are some of the techniques that a project manager must know. Now, I want to ask, what is the importance of Lean and Six Sigma in managing a project? Lean, as in L-E-A-N, and Six Sigma in managing a project.
For this television.
Hello? Are we together?
Yes, we are together.
Yes, we are together.
We are together. We are together.
What is Lean and Six Sigma in project management?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, so in lean, managing product using the lean modality, what we are focusing on is eliminating waste and improving efficiency in the project. And then for the Six Sigma, you are just aiming to reduce some variations, for example, in project cost, in lead time, and then some also defects in terms of managing the project. So when you combine these two, you can simply manage your project processes and deliver best results for your projects. Over.
Okay, thank you. Any other person? Any other person?
Yeah, sorry, Mr. Friday, to add, the Lean Six Sigma, you are doing what we call zero waste geology. So what you don't want is waste. You eliminate waste totally, so that I can create a new approach and that will help you manage the product in the project.
All right, thank you. Yeah, thank you. Mr. Monday, you want to say something? Are you talking, please? Okay, any other person as far as Lean and Six Sigma is concerned? Any other person? Any other person? Or are we just hearing Lean and Six Sigma for the first time?
You know, you're looking at the trainer.
Mr. Monday, if you are not contributing, please mute your mic. If you are not talking, mute your mic, please. Any other person that wants to contribute to Lean and Six Sigma as far as project management is concerned? Mr. Lawrence, are you there?
Rotimi wants to... I'm here. Okay, Rotimi, go ahead. I'm here.
Mr. Sylvester, we've not heard from you. Mr. Michael, Messi, Monday, we are not hearing from you. Martins, we are not hearing from you. Why?
We are learning. We are paying attention.
For me, I joined not too long ago, so I had a network problem. So as time goes on,
contribute so we can also learn from you.
Yeah, as we progress, please.
Yeah.
So, Rotimi speaking now.
Okay, Mr. Rotimi.
Yes, though not long ago I've been hearing about Lean Sigma, Lean Six Sigma, you know. So I was now wondering what's it all about. So later I now got to know that it's being used in supply chain or warehousing, you know. So it is a collaboration of systems, you know, put together to reduce waste, you know, wastage in supply chain management.
Okay.
That's what I.
Six Sigma is not only used in supply chain management. It is mostly used in project management. Mostly used in project management. The reason why supply chain, any form of business can also adopt Lean Six Sigma is because of its effectiveness. You know, If you are using a particular thing and it's yielding results, any other department can pick it up. Any other industry can pick it up, apply it, and you get the same results. Okay? Proper use of materials is not only applicable to project managers. Any business person that is effective in using its materials gets the same results. So it is not only in supply chain that you have Lean Sigma. It is mostly used in project management. Why do we use Six Sigma in project management? It is because, like Mr. Zach said, you are trying to eliminate waste. And the question is, does waste occur in project management? Does waste occur in project management? Does waste occur in project management?
Yes, of course it does.
Can we mention some of the waste that we see that is attributable to project management? Some of the waste. I'm listening.
And practically in terms of supply, and like recently what happened here with work is this: we order for a particular items to our supplier, but funny enough, they went and brought similar to what we sent to them, but not actually what we asked them to bring. And when the thing came in, we checked, the procurement manager check. Okay, fine, it's the same thing, but there's something not properly okay with that particular item. So when we got to the field, we tried to install the device, but realized that there's a little change in it. So at that moment, we wasted time, even the material, because we believe that the process of forcing the material or trying to adjust the material to fit in for purpose, we have to adjust and do some modification, of which it cannot be returned back to the supplier again. So for me, we have wasted that material, we wasted time and energy on that particular material. So that's my take on the wastage. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. That analogy is very apt as far as project management is concerned. So you can now see that it's not only in supply chain. Fine. It can be used also in supply. When you are talking about lean, anything whatsoever within the project scope that is capable of causing waste in any form, like the example you just stated now, the transportation, the time is a waste to the project. True or false?
True.
Is a waste to the project. So what Lean and Six Sigma is trying to achieve within the project is, hey guys, anything whatsoever that will cause wastages, that will cause delay in actualizing the objective of this project, that is exactly what we want to do, eliminate to the barest minimum. Don't forget, you may not totally 100% eliminate waste, but you try as much as possible to have at least 95% elimination, so that even the 5% that is left does not really have any significant impact on the project. So the first thing for you to do is to define the waste. Let us define the waste. What can cause the waste? Let us go to the root cause. We don't want to deal with the symptoms. What is that thing that is capable of causing the waste? Oh, the material is moving from the supplier to the project site. Have we done all the paperwork that will not allow the government agencies to stop us on the road for unnecessary checks? That could result to a waste. Because you are wasting time. The time that you are wasting is affecting the project. You have eaten deep into the project time. Now we talk about the material. How is the material used? How is the material handled? Do we have professionals that can use the materials effectively and efficiently? You carry someone that is incompetent to give a material to use. Obviously, that person is going to waste that material. What does he know? You give someone that does not have any experience a machine to operate. What does he know? So all of these things are things that bring about what waste. We have been able to identify it. We need professionals in order for us to do what? Eliminate waste. We need to do all the paperwork in order for us to do what? Eliminate the time wastage. Then we talk about analyzing it. We've defined it. We've analyzed. Now, we want to measure what is the impact of this waste on the project, on the entire project. Let's assume the material that was supposed to come in to be used by the workers has a lifetime of about 13 hours. What will be the significance of that 13 hours on the project? This is what the manager sits down to analyze. Then we talk about the control. We want to control it within the best possible way so that we do not do what? Get ourselves into unnecessary waste. So, the Lean Sigma, like Mr. Zach said from the beginning, it's aimed at what? Reducing waste that can affect a project. The defect is a waste. The workers waiting for the materials to arrive is a waste. For you not to be able to utilize the talent that you have within the project scope is a waste. Imagine you have professionals there and they are just lazing around, idle, nothing to do. It is a waste because you are not utilizing their talents for the purpose of that project to achieve your result. So this could constitute what? A waste. You talk about the transportation. You talk about the transportation. Why do we need to go to Kaduna to get raw materials? Why can't we have it here to reduce that transportation stress of having to wait 3 days before it arrives? If we are not going through that way, even within Lagos or within Abuja, where the project is situated, I'm sure you have up to 3 to 4 routes. Why are you taking the first route instead of the second one? How much time have you wasted in trying to get to the supplier? That is a waste to the organization. So the Lean Six Sigma ensures that there is what? Decrease in waste. It also does what? Prevent a situation where we have defective products, defective materials. that the material is the raw material is utilized, and then the end product does not give us what we want. For example, you are mixing the cement, you want to mold blocks. At the end of the day, the quality of the block is not what you wanted. The size of the block is not what you wanted. That is what a waste to the organization. In as much as fine, you can still use it, maybe the broken ones, use it for some other thing, but it did not meet up with the required standard. That is a waste to the organization. Okay? So, what it does is, number one, you try to use the DMIC and the DMADV approach, which is for you to try as much as possible to deliver, to maintain, to analyze, to inspect, to control. As a project manager, one of the benefits is that the Six Sigma helps you in doing what? Improving performance. Because when all the wastages are what eliminated, your performance is enhanced, your performance is improved. There are no defective products or materials. There are no time wastages in terms of transportation, in terms of talent and what have you. It helps the manager to achieve function. Have been able to use the Lean Sigma to achieve a desired goal. Now, it could be as a result of application of or deployment of certain softwares that will help you. Some of the tools that you might use in order for you to get your result. Because of a truth, sometimes projects can be very complex. Sometimes projects can be very what? Complex. Is there any simple project as far as project management is concerned? Is there any simple project? Any simple project? Any simple project? Do we have simple projects or all projects are complex?
No project is simple. No project that is simple. It all depends on your capability and how you manage. You mean me?
How do you mean,
I should explain.
Yes, sir.
I should explain how.
Please.
Project is a project. I'm coming. Project is a project.
Okay.
Project is a project. It has a standard. So you follow the standard. The way project is being stipulated, the procedure, the supervision, the time frame, the scoping, the planning, everything, the monitoring, as the case may be. So, and you have to deliver. You have to do the right thing and put every measures in place, both how the managing of risks and everything. Because I believe in every project, no matter how little, how it is, more than based on little, based on the size of the project. Just like you said earlier, there are complex projects and there are less complex projects. For project is project. So you have to manage the risks, everything, and get it done at the right time. Mind you, there are projects that seems to be small by size, but the activities in that project can also generate its own risks and threats. So in as much as all these attributes is involved in projects, you have to follow it and abide in it to be successful. or else if anything happens, the same hammer they will hammer the project manager that is handling a very gigantic and complex project is the same hammer they will hammer you. So no project is small. Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Lawrence. Mr. Lawrence is of the opinion that no project is small. All projects are what complex, no simple project at all. Does anybody agree with him? Does anybody agree with him?
Yes, we exactly agree. Because of the energy, the time, the plan and everything. So we agree.
Okay. There's no small projects. There's absolutely no small project. Sometimes you look at a project to be simple, but over time, the complexity of that project, you cannot even say it was a small project. Because no matter how small a project is, like he said, the energy that you are putting for the bigger one is the same principle, the same energy, the same format that you are also applying for the small one. Because all that you want is that results should be met. So there is no small project at all. At all. At all. Okay. So one of the key factors or elements that we should consider is the safety culture of the project itself. The safety culture. The safety culture of the project. Why should a project manager be safety conscious? Why should a project manager be safety conscious? And why should...
Okay,
go ahead.
Finish up, sir. Finish up, sir. Go ahead, just finish up. Finish up, sir. You're about saying something.
Yes. Why should there be safety policies as far as the project is concerned? Of what impact does it play on the entire project? Over to
okay, let me come in. Okay. Project as it is something that has been initiated, planned, and is also for the benefit of the company that initiated or planned that project. Is for a purpose. And that purpose shouldn't be overruled by carelessness or laxity or complacency or kind of normalizing the risk associated in the project. Now, risk, like I said earlier, risk is inevitable. You cannot underestimate risk. You cannot overrule risk. And you can only, however, reduce it to its lowest minimum. Why? Is because already the system knows that risk is involved in anything you're doing. And one of the things risk causes is this. Risk causes damage of equipment. If you are not cautious about risk, it can result to damage of equipment. One, which is loss to the company, and even loss to you, the project manager, because you have to pay for it. Two, it has to do with lives, injury. If you are not safety conscious as a project manager, you can lose your workers. And once you lose your workers, which is life involved, your reputation as a project manager has been dented. In fact, what the company will pay for that, the loss of that life, will make them never to call you again. In fact, they will rule you out completely because you normalize the risks involved in that project. Three, injuries. When people started having injuries in a particular work, then the project manager should be questioned. That means the safety measures in place have not been re-examined, or the mitigation have not been put in place. It shows that they are doing things the way they should ought to do it. And once injury has occurred, so consistently injury keeps occurring. That means the project manager is not capable enough in managing the risk of that project, and it will dent his image, because managing risk is one thing that companies really want to look at from project management. People that can do this work safe and sound and get a thumbs up for it. Like I manage, we take risks very serious. In fact, it can make you stop the project. You can make you lose the project. Even in the middle of that project, you can lose the job. They will pick in another contractor to start from it because of what? Injuries, lack of risk management. So the determination of that job, it is even better for you to do a job that it is even better for you to a little bit over your time frame in the project than for you to lose somebody in that project or to damage equipment. So exceeding the time frame is a little bit tolerable than losing a soul or equipment out of your carelessness or lack of inability of managing this, or you not being, as a project manager, you not being safety conscious. Because one, overlapping your time is tolerated. You can be cautioned. You can be given a second chance based on reliable reasons. But in those two I mentioned above, forget it. Thank you, sir.
Wow, thank you very much. Thank you very much for that. Any other person? Any other person? Mr. Michael?
Sorry, I was offline for a minute. I don't know where we stopped. I just got back.
Okay. So as far as project management or managing a project is concerned, Mr. Lawrence, I totally agree with you. Okay. The reason why we have frequent issues when it comes to health hazards, injuries, accidents, incidents, near misses, and all of that. It's simply because most people are not safety conscious. All they want is let the work go on. Did anybody fall down today? No, thank God. Oh, yeah, we'll continue tomorrow. Not minding or analyzing or assessing or trying to identify what is capable of causing accident, what is capable of causing incident, what is capable of causing near misses, what is capable of causing any form of hazard. They downplay that because, of course, today nobody fell down, nobody got injured, nobody did this. So to them, it should be looked down on. Every project manager must be conscious of safety. And as a matter of fact, safety does not start or begin and end on the door or the hands of the project manager. No. Safety starts with everyone and ends with everyone. What do we mean? An individual must take safety as a priority. Okay? People must begin to understand that without having good life, of course, you cannot do a good job. Without having a good life, you cannot do what? Have a good job. You cannot discharge your functions. Okay? So Even the supervisors, what do? They are safety policies, but do they comply to it? They themselves are supervisors. Do they enforce people downplaying the policies? What is their actions? They just laugh over. Don't do that again. Go and wear your PPEs. Don't do that again. They just laugh. Hey, chairman, hey, suppose, and it ends there. The following day, the same thing happens. The truth of the matter is, peradventure anything happens, the project manager bears the consequences. The project manager can lose his license. The project manager automatically loses the contract, even if it is done halfway. His reputation, his integrity, his name is tarnished. What about lawsuit? That because of your complacency, because of your carelessness, you have thrown the organization into unnecessary lawsuit. We must understand it is only, I'm sorry to say, and at the same time, I'm not sorry. It is only in this part of the country, in this part of the world, that the lives of people are not taken as priority. You go to site where project work is done, and you ask yourself, do we actually have a project manager who is safety conscious on this site? He is there. Do we have a supervisor who is safety conscious on this site? He is there. So what becomes of the people? What becomes of the people? What becomes of the staff? They throw caution to wind, and anything can do what can happen. We must be able to ensure that we do not have any injury as far as the project is concerned. What is the difference between near miss What is the difference between near miss incident and accident?
Okay, let me come in, sir. Okay.
Okay.
Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay. Like this earlier said, incident, accidents, and near misses.
Near miss, yeah.
It's the same thing, near misses. So incidents and near misses are pari passu. They are together. For instance, they work together. For instance, something happens, something that has to do with safety happened. As in, let me say, an incident happened in a place like, how will I put it? Okay, let's say an object dropped from the height, a dropped object. And when that thing dropped, already the action of that thing to drop is an incident. If that equipment dropped down and probably was supposed to hit somebody, and at that moment, nobody was there, potentially, it was supposed to hit somebody because people are passing there. and suddenly no one was there when it happens. One, it's an incident already. It has happened. Two, and probably it's also a near miss, because if somebody have been there or walking through that path, you could have hit the person. So it's going to be taken seriously. What happened? What caused that thing to drop? Is it that the people working at that height, they didn't spread the mat, catch net and stuff like that? All those things will be taken care of by the safety. Then the accident. Accident is when such similar thing happen and it finally gets to injure someone. It's an accident. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you very much. Any other person? Any other person? Who else want to try? Is it only Mr. Lawrence and Mr. Zach that is on this platform? Why are other people not talking?
Oh, we are here. We are listening. I'm here.
And we also want your input now.
Sorry,
we also want your contribution.
Hello?
Hello, Mr. Monday, go on.
Thank you, sir. I'm sorry I was in a noisy place. I have to step out and reply. Well, I won't be listening. So, to me, in my opinion, a near miss is an accident that it's not an accident. It's an accident that was supposed to happen and cause either injury or damage, but it did not affect the person. So there was a kind of escape. Why an accident is something that has happened, it has caused damage or injury to the affected person. These are my few inputs.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. In safety, and as far as the project manager is concerned, he looks at these three components, talking about the near miss, talking about incidents, and talking about accidents. An accident simply is something that happens and then it causes damages. Okay? There's loss, maybe loss of life, there's injury, there is a form of damages, so to say. An incident, it occurred, but there was no form of damage. Nobody got injured. Okay? Nobody died, no loss of life or property. It was an incident. A near miss, it almost happened, but it did not happen. Like Mr. Lawrence said, maybe the crane is up there, somebody was sitting underneath, and all of a sudden, he just left 30 seconds ago. Suddenly, the crane fell exactly where the person sat. That is a near miss. It almost happened, but it did not happen. It almost. What we mean it almost hit the guy, but the person, fortunate enough, left that location and it did not hit him. So that is the difference between the three: the incident, accident, and a near miss. Everyone is supposed to uphold this tenaciously as a project manager, because it's going to affect your project. Imagine if there is an accident within your project scope that affects the lives of the total manpower that you have is 25. and 20 people are injured, what can 5 people do? What can 5 people do? It is better for you to have time overlap than for you to have an injury where the lives of people, an accident where the lives of people is gone, people are hospitalized, there's high degree of damages and what have you. So we should be able, as much as possible, ensure that we have a safe environment for people to work, a safe environment for people to function. The first thing after the contract must have been awarded is an analysis, an evaluation of the safety of that location. That is the second thing to do. That is the second thing to do. How safe is this place? Do we need the services of law enforcement agency as long as we are on this site? Are we prone to attacks? Are our property safe? Our equipment safe? He's talking about the lives of the people and what the protection of the property of the organization. So we must take safety. We must take safety into consideration. Sometimes safety is not only when somebody is injured, it's not only when there's an accident, it's not only when there's an incident. Safety measure could also be not overloading someone that you know is not physically strong. Is not physically strong. Is not physically energetic. Is not mentally sound. Everybody has their capacity that they can function. That when you stretch them beyond their limits, they no longer function the way they ought to function. A project manager should, so that at the end of the day, you know, okay, is this person capable of doing overtime? If at all there's reason for that. Can this person run this stretch of hours as far as this project is concerned? That can also be opening up somebody to what? To danger, to risk, to hazard. So what do you do? Understanding the people that you are working with. Everybody wants a safe environment where they can leave their home complete, go to work, and come back complete. So we must understand the individual's capacity to handling a particular job. Your staff sometimes might want to show you that they are powerful. Some of them can even go as far as taking maybe some kind of drugs that will enhance them, that will make them more energetic. But for how long? All those substances have negative effects on their system. They should not be open to that. They should not be encouraged to do that. It is better for you to have the time elongated and have the result than having no result and then the time is met. Every project manager must be sensitive. It is not all about the money. It is not all about satisfying the sponsors. The people that are working for you are equally as important as the sponsors of that project. Hence, they should be treated the right way that they should be treated in order to get the right result. We talk about integration. Every part of the project must be well integrated. Every unit must be well integrated. The resources must be well integrated. We are talking about synergy, formation, cohesion, togetherness, oneness. It must be what? Well integrated. Once all of this is done, like we mentioned the 9 components yesterday, talking about communication management, procurement, human resources, integration, stakeholders, the cycle, and what have you. Once you are able to put all this into the right perspective, your project is as good as anything else. So it is, I believe, it is a firm hope that as we move into our respective various fields of endeavor, like I said yesterday, being a project manager doesn't mean that you need to be a construction manager. You need to be in a construction line. No. What if you are working in a bank and there's a project to go supply the bank maybe with 5,000 units of laptops? That is a project. That is a project. You don't need to be a builder before you be a project manager. No. You might work in any place and you are asked to do a particular thing. That is a project on its own. All of these factors, all of these elements that we have mentioned must be inculcated, must be integrated in order for you to get your results. So I don't need to work with Mr. Lawrence as maybe a facility manager or a project manager, a construction manager. No, I can function as a project manager in any dimension, in any field whatsoever. Any question, please? Any contribution? Mr. Lawrence, share experience today now. Hello.
Hello, sir. All right, sir.
Yes.
Okay.
Share experience today now.
Okay, sir. Experience on what perspective, sir? Is it risk aspect, accident, or importance, or
let's talk,
in general?
Let's talk about safety.
Okay, safety, as it implies, can never be overemphasized, because safety, it's what quantify you as a project manager. You can be as good as you are. You can have the integrity so far. You can be trusted by clients. You can have your name, your brand can be a very good one and stuff like that. But just one day, you were given a project and something happened. To tell you how safety is very, very crucial in project managing. Just one error that will happen. My brother, the way the thing will escalate, it will even go as far as affecting those good records you have kept so long. It will affect them. So that is why safety is one of the key points to a successful project manager. Whatever you are doing as a project manager, safety is a priority. In fact, it's a priority one. From your planning, you apply safety. Your monitoring, you apply safety. Your supervision, you apply safety, because all those aspects, you are being exposed to the project site, because you will not be there, you will be there witnessing all these things. So something happened here. We work. We are working on currently we are working on this water treatment tank. So what we do, we want to clean it for a very long time. Since the plant was built, they had not worked on that particular drinking water tank. A very big one. It can serve It can serve half of Rivers State. So what we do is this. Yes, we carry out the planning, the paperwork, the construct, the drawings, everything, the ventilation, the manway. Manway means where someone will enter to work and exit. We will get our extinguishers. We got our air blower for ventilation, and so all these things are part of the plan. Even the drawing, the ventilation plan, you will be along with the documents. All these things have been done by the planning engineer in the office, given to the project manager to hold as part of his document and work with it. Because definitely safety people, personnel will come to check all those things, to make sure all those plans are put in place. All those yes, make sure all of them are put in place. Your BA from beginning to end, anything that has to do with the project for you to be successful in safety-wise will be checkmated. And this checkmate I'm telling you about, they does it periodically. They don't just come at first and go and leave you till the project ended. No, they does it periodically. Periodically, they does it. They come time to time to check if you are complying or if there's any place you can improve from what you are doing. So something happened. The weathers, we are working in the tank because we have a patch, an open patch. After the blasters came in, they blasted the tank, blasted for corrosion, for corrosion control. They blasted the tank, and something happened. We realized that in the morning, when we got to where we want to work, we realized that the patch top of the tank has opened. What happened? How can this be? After so much investigation, we then realized that the blasters, they are the ones that use their blasting equipment to pressurize that place and force the tank to open, to tear at the top body there. Because that place over time has been corroded so much that the thickness of the plates of that tank has been worn out. So when they were blasting, they went in a very close range. You know, that blasting equipment is very powerful. It has 10 bar. I don't know people that usually use air hose. It gives 10 bar, up to 15 bar, 10 to 15 bar. It will tell you how. In fact, it's more than the force of a bullet. Bullet from a gun is 4 bar. 4 bar. The range which bullet travel from the gun when it's being shot down to the person is 4 bar. And what we are working on now, or talking about that, is about 10 to 15 bar. You can imagine how powerful that blasting equipment are. So they went so close to the tank, and the thing punched the tank and tore it. It was a safety concern. How come? Why? Are they not professionals? Where were the safety? Were they not inducted? You see, issues have started coming up. Where are they certified? Are they well trained? They should go and bring their certification. They should go and bring this. They should go and bring their conversion sticker. They should go and do this. Investigators start going to know exactly what happened. Now they are the one that does it after investigation. Why did you do that? Didn't you know the bar that is coming out from your host? Or don't you know that you're not supposed to go that close, blah, 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 blah. At that point, the job is a safety concern. The job went down. After investigation so far, now they have to start patching the tank. After patching the tank, procurement people came, the PIQ people came to inspect the integrity of what they did to match up what was found, to match what was existing. So now, for that incident that happened now, you realize that time has wasted. If the project was supposed to be 10 days, because of additional work, you have to 20. You have lost money, you have lost manpower, you have lost time, we have even lost trust again, and now we have even lost safety consciousness. Now the project manager will become very sorrowful, as in kind of moody, and now he will be more pressurized because eyes now will be on me, because already the company is running loss because of that incident that happened. So you can see how a safety consciousness is very, very key in projects. Very, very key. So I will advise everybody, no matter what you're doing as a project manager, once you are satisfied as a project manager, please, for you to retain your integrity, to retain your certification, to retain your name, and also for you to have food to be put on your table, in order for people to be giving you jobs, you need to take safety as a priority. Thank you very much, sir.
Wow, thank you very much. Thank you very much for that. I really appreciate. You see, like you said, even if we talk from now till tomorrow, there are still people that do not believe in safety. It is to their own disadvantage. For some of us that believe in safety, it is to our own advantage. And the more we put it to use, the more of good it is to us and to the organization that we work with. Thank you very much. Any other person? Any other person?
Yes.
Any contribution?
Can you hear me?
Okay, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes. So my own contribution is in the area of patient safety, because I work in the development field. That means I work for NGOs, and in one of the NGOs I worked 5 years back, there was this procurement that we initiated for one of our suppliers to supply us some anti-malaria products. This specifically applies to artesunate injection. Artesunate injection is used for the treatment of severe malaria in patients. So this vendor supplied, after signing the contract and all of those processes for procurement sake, the vendor supplied the product. However, before my resumption in the office in that project, all the products that the vendor supplied were assumed to have passed quality checks. For malaria health product and other medicines we use in, patient care, there are a lot of things that has to be taken into account. The NAFDAC number, the expiry date, and other quality checks. So this vendor supplied that product, only to other team members. One of the product, artesunate injection, does not have NAFDAC number. What it had was manufacturing license number, and it's different from NAFDAC number. Ultimately, this drug is or was imported. So when I came on, I had to go on a routine check to the store to ensure that all of the drugs that we have actually meet those quality checks for use in patients. So I found out that this artesunate injection had only manufacturing license number. However, team members had already checked these products and certified them okay. And we went ahead and made payments to this vendor. So when I came on, I said, no, one of the drugs that we have here is not safe for patient use. And we identified that vendor, and I wrote email to that vendor and said, we initially agreed with you that you were going to supply us this product with so and so quality checks, and you agreed and you signed the contract. However, on my resumption, I saw that you did not supply us this product as agreed, even though my team members had attested to the fact that this met it. But on the second look, it does not look at it. So it's a vendor that we had strong relationship with over time. So what I did was ask them to do two things, and they should just choose one. I gave them two options. It's either, based on our relationship with them, we should not end anytime soon. They should either replace this product with a more qualitative product, the one that's certified by NAFDAC for use, or they should refund us the money. So it took them a while for for them to reply. So we were caught in dilemma. The first dilemma is that team members had already agreed that this product meets standards. But on a second check, this product did not meet standard. The second dilemma is with the vendor. The vendors did not want to lose our relationship. So what they did was they chose to replace, and the first option for them was to replace, and then the second option for them was to refund. So they chose to refund the money. So what I'm trying to say here is that as project managers, we will need to be more meticulous in terms of managing whatever that is it we are, doing in this project. Because if we had gone ahead to distribute this product and use it on patients, the patient safety will have been compromised, and that will have been the end of that organization in that project. In fact, I know very well that the donors or the contractors, those that gave money to that organization to do this project, would have sued them and made them refund, and they will be blacklisted. So we need to be more meticulous in terms of carrying out our contracts, so as we manage products more efficiently. Over.
Well, thank you very much. High level of sensitivity, not throwing caution to the wind. Sometimes they say two heads are better than one. Is a lie. You have to define the kind of heads. You have to define the kind of heads. Imagine other team members have already, given their own verdict that it passed the test. And just one person coming back is now discovering what other teams did not discover. That's high level of sensitivity. And it behoves every project manager to be sensitive. Don't assume anything. Don't assume. You don't work on assumption. If Mr. Zach has worked on assumption, okay, assume my team members have done the checks and whatever result they come up with is fine. Who knows if they would have still have a job today? But for the singular act of sensitivity and proactiveness, they are still on the job today. Their integrity is still protected. Thank you very much, sir. Any other person? So we can call it a day.
Yes, I want to ask a question. Yes, I want to ask a question. Sylvester speaking. Yes, in this era of AI, are there not AI software that we can leverage on in managing projects? Can you throw more light on how we can utilize AI in management of projects?
Okay. Now, when you talk about AI in managing any project, one of the things that is making most project managers or companies not to even think about the application of AI is because of how seemingly expensive it is to deploy. But for some of the companies that have the wherewithal to use AI in doing their project, of course, they also apply the AI. The thing here is what AI can do, no matter the kind of technology that you bring on board, no matter the kind of technology you bring on board, humans will always occupy a position. The staff will always occupy their position when it comes to one or more activities to be done. Okay, so companies can use AI, for example, in tracking the process, the flow of whatever that is happening. Like we mentioned before, when it has to do with managing your materials, of course, there are softwares that can be adopted. There are softwares that can be used. At every point in time, you know what material is used, what is remaining, who authorized what, where is the material kept, and all of that. For example, we did make mention of something like Traction. Traction is what? Is a software. Traction is a software that project managers use. Now, the Traction here is talking about like a cloud solution that is designed to assist an organization, okay? Driving them to process all the documents that they need to work with as far as the project is concerned. So with this Traction, you are able to, at ease, you get the documentation, the information, the data, as far as the project is concerned. Let's say, for example, in the past 10 years, how many projects have we done? It can be on Traction, the software that we are using. The Traction software will accommodate that. It will also accommodate all the lessons learned. It will accommodate all the challenges. It will accommodate all the information concerning our suppliers, our stakeholders. These are some of the softwares that we can use. Then we also make mention of a software like Talify. If you have time, just look into it. Talify. Talify is a software. Now, Talify allows the project teams to automate and capture every process within the organization. So imagine if Mr. Lawrence is the project team member, Mr. Zach is a team member, Mr. Martins is a team member, I'm a team member, and all of that. And then the company adopts Talify as a software. It gives us an easy access into the workflow, an automated process that captures holistically everything that happens within the organization. Okay? So these are some of the softwares that project management or project managers can as well use. There may be other softwares that you could also make use of. It depends on what the organization wants. It depends on what the organization stands for. It depends on the kind of project and how suitable are these softwares to a project manager. So you don't just go using any any software because you have the capacity to deploy one. It must be, it must have this relationship with the project. Otherwise, it may not give you the desired result. So I don't know if there is any other software that we can think of and mention. Mr. Lawrence, is there any software that you know that can be used as far as project management is concerned?
And sometimes we use the Primavera 6.
Okay.
To monitor the job, reporting, and formatting and stuff like that. We use it. We tracing for following up jobs, their start date and end date, the expectation, tracking the jobs as it progresses from percentage to percentage. So we also use that to do that.
Okay. So some other people use what we call KaiNexus. KaiNexus, that's KAINEXUS. KaiNexus. Some other people make use of that. All of this is deployed just to have a grasp of what the project is all about. So, like I said, it depends on what kind of project and the one that is suitable for you to be used. Was that Mr. Who asked the question? Was that Mr. Michael or Mr. Martins? Okay. So, any other question or contributions? Any other contribution, any other input? In the absence of none, MJB, over to you.
Okay.
Sorry, Friday. Friday, okay. Sorry, MJB, okay. I'm sorry. I want to remind Friday of my promise. So keep my promise. Thank you.
Okay. We'll pass it to the Senate for approval. We'll pass it to the Senate.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Friday. Thank you so much. Thank you, our esteemed participants. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for your understanding. Thank you for your maturity. You know, some time ago, when we had this training, when we had network challenges like that, we had for close to an hour, one of the participants, the lady stood up and, and she started shouting. She unmuted her mic and she was shouting and shouting and shouting. But thank God for the maturity that everybody here has shown. Whatever that is supposed to be talking about your certificates and every other thing that is supposed to get to you in time. Thank you so much for partnering with us, and may our Creator touch whatever you do. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Right. Good night from our end. Good night. Good night. Good night, everybody.
Good night. Bye.